folks. It's retro coding time again. Another really late start, I'm afraid, and no time to prepare. Just rushed straight home from work. Sometimes I finish a good hour and a half before this, but let that music play out in the background. I think I've done a lot of code adding, or adding of code, or whatever you want to say it. Today I didn't do it on air because I wanted to progress as quickly as I could, to be honest, today, and just get some stuff down. So I'll show you what I've done first. I did run into an error, the very last thing I did, so I've had to comment some things out before we'll get them working now. As you might see on here, I've created a character called Mikie, school mascot, Russian exchange student. Had still quite a while to go. I'll stop that music. Yeah, so foreign exchange student Mikie has been added, and he's a dog. He wears a dog hat everywhere he goes, and he don't like Spiky. I've also changed Spiky's hair. Where is he? Not sure. It used to when you highlight one like that, it would show you it. But it doesn't seem to work anymore. What I did was I kept all the other sprites commented in case we did want to go back, because I don't think the spiky hair looks as good as the job Moz did. But having said that, the game is called Spiky, so it does suit him better. Makes it a little bit more, tiny bit more original. Let's see if it'll compile. I think it will. Yeah. So we can at least see Mikie with his Bart Simpson or Young Ones style hairdo, depending on what angle he's at. Oh, game over. The game over screen, as you can see, does load, but then it breaks. But I'm not concerned about that one little bit. That just got hacked in 5 minutes. What else did I do? I also I've done a very simple animation routine for the teeth. We already had these two sprites for the teeth. We were only looking at this one, which is the worst one. This one looks a little bit more like teeth. And what I've done was, and I think I'll use this animation style going forward actually. I think the other one I've got for Mikie is not working as it should. And it's just a waste of time. But I'll probably leave it for now, it works. But here's how I did it with just a 2-frame animation. We could have just as easily had 3 doing this. We call draw sprite all the way down here and load the position. And then in between we just choose what sprite to point at, and it's just a constant value again. Nothing fancy. But that makes the teeth look a lot better. Well, I'll load it up and show you them again. Obviously I need a new sprite for these, but it'll do for now. It's chatter. So they're at least animated. I actually have added it so that when we go to level 2, Muttley is in here, Mikie. But it broke the game. And at first I thought I'd run out of memory again, because I had to include all that sprite to get him an animated character again. And I started worrying. I think that's half of a megabyte. Or no, half of a kilobyte, sorry. But I don't actually think we are near the top of the memory. And also I never got the warning off the compiler. But it just didn't load. But now I've proved that wrong anyway, because I just commented out the code that I wrote today. And it works now. But of course, we need it to work with the code in there. And that's the key for today. I mainly just copy and pasted and used find and replace. So I'm not surprised it doesn't work. But I'll start uncommenting it now and show you the error. Okay, so that was his internal draw function. That's everything in here. In here, did I comment anything out? No, I didn't need to. That's much like Bob, just simpler. Oh, I did look. I undone his update. Let's get rid of set border blue. It's not bother having that. Yo, Moz. Good to see you, man. Yeah, even later one today, unfortunately, for work. So, but tomorrow's the last day, and then I've got 2 days off, so we can make loads of progress then. I've done some terrible artwork, which we'll hopefully see in a minute when we get Mikie working. Just make sure everything's uncommented. And then I think it was in level 2. Where did I put it? Damn it. I don't know where I put. I just showed it a second ago. There was like a call to the Mikie update. Oh, draw Mikie. So I was actually calling draw Mikie there and getting away with it. And update Mikie in level 2. I mean, it looks awful. It looks absolutely awful, but it's something, isn't it? It's a start. Right, so obviously I'm not bothered about painting right now. In fact, he's never getting painted. Hi, Fractal Mike. It's really hard to draw them teeth in such a small space. Have you? Oh, brilliant. That's a good idea. How big were they, out of interest? What size was the sprite of the teeth? In the specky one? So let's see if we can't get this working, because it really should. There's nothing here that isn't in Bob that works. But of course, if I've just made one slip up with a rename. Aha! He's a different size to Bob. That's what it is. For a start, these all need to be 24. Do you know what? I think I can just change the word 32 to 34. 24, sorry. I mean, that's one mistake, but I don't know if that'll fix it. Excuse me. 16 by 16. Oh, you have? Thank you. I'll check that now. Yeah, I'm really bad at checking my emails. Ah, see teeth. Ah, excellent. I'll paste that in right away. Thank you for doing that. Nice. I can already see that's so much better already. I don't know why I got it into my head that there was like an angle, like an isometric view on the teeth. That's how I've tried to draw them. I just had that stuck in my head, probably from the Commodore one, I guess. I should have thought of that. That's so much simpler to draw it like that, isn't it? Okay, so the teeth are going to look good. This is the one I'm worried about, Mutsky. His update loop, particularly. Turning and control. He can share them states, that's fine, because he has his own Mutsky state. Better check I've made all them. Yeah. Aha. Okay, so I need to initialize it in here. That's what I haven't done. That probably, I mean, I don't think that would break the game if I forget to do this. It just would have him going in the wrong direction. But funny how it doesn't find it. I've been having problems with the IDE all of a sudden. I've included it, look. Not that that should matter. I don't think it does in this IDE. But Mutsky state. I was just trying to type it there. There it is. Defined. Yeah, it's telling me it didn't exist in here. Oh well, whatever. I seem to have lost IntelliSense, like, or the form of IntelliSense that I had. Not to worry. Yeah, it is on C64. I thought so. It's like a 3D style teeth, and that's what I must have had in my head when I was trying to draw it. Let's have a look ski. So yeah, we're just copying our start state over to state, just initializing it, doing the same with direction. Funny how it doesn't find it. I know it exists. Very strange. Is it trying to tell me something? Does he chuck his book at you in the arcade? What, teeth as well, or just book? That's interesting. I've been reading about the arcade. Apparently, there's little secrets like you can open certain doors and like a nude woman is behind the door and you get a bonus point. And then there's like some other stuff as well that was quite funny that I didn't know about. Headbutting the teacher, which I don't think was in the ZX Spectrum one, but they had the shout attack. But I tried it on the teacher like maybe 20 times and died every time and gave up. So I'll just finish off initializing him because this needs to be done. Yeah, the IntelliSense is broke as hell now. It's trying to write a line every time I write A and stuff. It's never done that before. And I don't even have a line in my code, the word, anywhere. So this isn't a great sign. I reckon it's trying to tell me something because this is when it broke when I added this earlier. So I'm kind of expecting it to break. I didn't even have these before. But when I added Mutsky. We should be able to just call that, and there should be an update one as well. I don't know why it would be above the sprite. Hide that. Oh, there. So from outside we call that one, and there should be an update. I don't know what's going on with that. That's probably why I'm failing. It's failed. We have got it here. Yeah, that's not too bad. So I just call that and the draw that's in there, and he should at least appear, even if he does nothing. I set him up with nodes to walk around with and everything. That's the lockered collision detection. L2 nodes. No definition found. Something's really spun out. Because there it is. It should have found that. It's compiled and it's done the error that it done earlier. Does anyone know what that means? R loading error 31, 30:1. It's like it's got a corrupted tape, yeah? I'm a bit worried that it didn't find that any of them things where it should have. I'm going to try closing all this. Funny that you can't close it once you open it. Is it all book? That's interesting. It doesn't find patrol either, it should. What's happened to it? No definition found from Mutsky Y. It shouldn't happen this. I don't get it. When it compiles fine. But yeah, it doesn't work. I'm not sure what that 30-1 means. I want to somehow remove this completely. What the hell? I was thinking I could get away with moving that down a bit. I don't think that. 92. That's just a game window. Oh, it loaded. Oh, it crashed straight away. We must be getting near the top of the memory, I would guess. No tap head. So that tape loading error, did it run out of tape? Did I have too much stuff? I moved it down a bit, but now we don't have very much room at all for our UI. Specky coding, hello Chromo. Yeah, I'm doing my best. I've just ran into another problem here. We've just solved it, but it appears we're very high up. We've almost filled up the memory now. I mean, we have got near enough all the graphics we need in there now. Don't need that much else. I mean, I did want to put the hallway level in there, but I might have to give up on that idea. Just have all rooms. How can I best work out exactly how much memory I've used? I think I could even get away with that. Yeah. So we've got a bit of space. Oh, it crashed. I do wonder if that's when I'm overrunning the video buffer, which was okay before because I allowed lots of extra space. Yeah, it's an emulator, of course, which you probably were aware of, but yeah, it's just a straight up 48K we're targeting. I'll see if it crashes when I go back up to there. Because I think I just need to allow like a space around my video memory, which I haven't done yet. But luckily, if it goes off the bottom or right of the screen... Oh, I've just walked through the door. I wanted to test it to see if it crashed. Let's collect some hearts. Oh, actually, I think that's when the teeth hit me. I just hacked in a little game over, tiny game over screen. Trying to stay away from the teeth. Oh my god. I can't tell if it's the teeth or whether it's actually just happening every time. I think it is the teeth that was doing that. Which is fine. I can deal with that. When we make a proper game over screen. At the moment I tried to share something in the game over and the main menu and it seems to have bugged it out. Oh, it's just crashed again. I wonder what does cause that then. I'll try putting this up a bit because I have got a feeling it's something to do with going over the video buffer. Stay away. Seems okay now. Another thing I've got to check is why is Taphead not in there? He should be a hit in this level here. I was expecting to see him walk around. Just reading your message. There's probably a way of doing that actually. I need to investigate the Pasmo options there. That's a very good shout, man. Thank you. Because as you see, I'm using the tap bass option to put the basic loader in front of it. I'll quickly have a look at the options and see if something jumps out at me like. Yeah, I'm very much noobing on with the debugging. Pasmo documentation, there we go. I should probably use that Z80asm. I keep getting told to use that. Options, here we go. Debug, show debug info during second pass of assembly. Verbose mode, V. Let's try that. Oh. That's just how long it took, isn't it? Yeah, I've got to look into that as well, Moz. There's that space in between, isn't there? Someone was saying something about you can just point the other stuff as well around or something, but I could fit the buffer in there, do you think? It doesn't look like Pasmo has any good options for what we want, except for D. Maybe D, but I can't see how that's going to give me help. I don't know how to use the debug. Okay, maybe it will. Might be too slow. Would it? Do you reckon it'll be a different speed accessing that memory area then? Call this debug. Is this an ongoing thing or is this like unpacking? Is this just the game running now, like without a screen? E. What's the highest one it goes up to? Is it FFF? Dumping the whole. Here we go. It's finished, I think, isn't it? That's where I told it to end, isn't it? Interesting. Interesting, but insane to read through it. Vote 6502. Fair enough, man. I definitely need to start on that at some point. I want to do the NES and the Commodore 64. But I am definitely going to do a couple of projects in the Z80 as well. No, no problem, man. I'm glad the poll's there. It's good to find out people's opinions. I think I know what it is. Yeah, I think I know who he is. I haven't watched his stream, but I do know who he is. I've only recently become interested in assembly language. Yeah, if I had time to check out streams, I would certainly check his one out. I have seen it. Okay, cheers, Moz. I'll have a read of that. Is he doing Game Boy as well? Brilliant. I've been thinking of doing Game Boy, but my next one is going to be a C64 and a NES. But I may do another Spectrum one in between before I start then. Just reading Moz's a sec. It says contented, but I think contended, yeah, contested. Cheers, Chroma. I'll be sure to check him out. As people know who watch my channel, though, I tend to either be working or streaming or just completely vegging out. Yeah, I will join. It's a good place to get myself around with other like-minded folk. I know the guy who you're talking about. Is he a Brummie or somewhere like that, like Midlands of England? He made a Commodore 64 game I've seen in the past. Code that runs in contended memory will be slightly slower. Right. That's bloody interesting, Moz. That's a shame, so I obviously can't put my double buffer in there then. I wonder what I can put in there. What about the sprite data itself for the levels and stuff and people? Oh, he's from somewhere near London, is he? He sounds like a Birmingham guy. Oh, from the north, now London, I see. Yeah, that will be worth a go, Moz. I reckon we might just get away without using it. Because I've added Taphead. Once I get him drawn. So we've got two big characters. Spiky. The bin. The ball is in there, it's just craply drawn. I actually think for the data, the only stuff we need is like, well, nothing. Even the sound is not really... Yes, I am. I'm on Windows 10. I've got a laptop, I use Linux, but I don't actually like Linux compared to Windows. Let's figure out why this one ain't working. Why he's not showing up. So in level 2, update. Well, I initialize the stuff here. But in the update, he gets updated. And he gets drawn. That was the problem I was having. Why is it not finding it? This has happened just since I got home. When I left for work in the afternoon today, that did not happen. Draw Mutsky. Draw Mutsky. Yes, I think you're right. I've actually just restarted it like 3 times, but I'll try that again. But I notice it remembers everything. You know, if I keep things open, it always remembers it. Maybe I have to reset the cache. I'm sure it is just a VS Code problem because it compiled fine. But I am very concerned because although it does compile, Mutsky is not there when I'm expecting him to be there. Just run straight out. Oh, the teeth got me. I might change that seed now so he's not always throwing that teeth straight away. Hopefully if I change it to like 5. Is that too big? Just put 1. Yeah, he's not here. Picking up the include okay. That's what I wondered. That's what I guess it's not, but you see, look, I swear it normally types that for you, doesn't it? Or maybe I dreamt that last thing I said. Maybe that's not true. Oh, of course, as well. Mutsky /Mikie.asm. Maybe that was why. So yeah, we know it compiles, and we know we run in here and he's not there. Yeah, but he should be, because level 2 update is definitely getting called. All this stuff is getting drawn that we expect. What about if I go to draw sprite? Oh, look, no definition for draw sprite. Verbose mode. I did try verbose mode, yeah, that's when it done that other long-winded one. That was the first one I tried. I'll show you it just out of interest. It's that one. It seems to just show you how long it took. Or is that the memory address? But look, telling you the times, I think, in milliseconds, isn't it? Probably less than a millisecond, because it takes less than a second to do that. I'm not sure if that is time, but it looks like time. Yeah, that's it. But it was worth a shout. I should maybe get. That's a good reason to use Z80asm plus, because that's what everyone keeps. Well, not everyone, but I've had that mentioned more than once to me that I should be using that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like nanoseconds or so, because it's like it seems to take like way less than half a second to do the whole thing. It's time for some debuggering. Yeah. If I could clear the cache, I think that might help. Just literally clear all temporary files on this thing. Well, I've got an idea. Firstly, I'll open a different project. Not that that makes any difference on this VS Code. It seems to not care. I'll open back to the one we were in. That won't make any difference whatsoever. Can't find it. But maybe I could uninstall this thing. Reload required. That was the one by M. Boric, and it was my favourite one, but I'll just try a different one quickly. And I can always go back to him. I might as well write Pasmo. Get one made for Pasmo. Oh, it's grey. Oh, I've already got it, but it's disabled. Maybe that was why I've got too many of them installed or something. Oh, look at that. What's gone wrong with it? How is load not even coloured in? You can't even do what I was doing now with this one. Try just a quick restart. Sorry about this, everyone. Wasn't expecting this. If this is the case, oh, thank you for the follow. Is that a follow? Oh, thank you very much. For Roy. Excellent. Thank you, mate. Yeah, if this continues throughout the whole evening, I might even try to do a more fully fledged IDE than VS Code. Now I fully understand what I'm doing. I'm going to uninstall that completely. Dzog. I mean, to be fair, I probably need to update these. They're just sat on my system already. Oh my god, what's happened? It literally, it does nothing. Well, I'll uninstall that as well. Let's uninstall them all and reboot the thing. Oh, even get rid of that for now. Yeah, that's true. But they were all disabled, but I forgot I even had them, to be honest. So it should be clear of all extensions now. And of course this will just be white writing. That's fine. Marketplace has extensions for ASM. I mean, that one I had was really good because it gave me lots of like, I think this is it, Z8. No, that's not made by the same person. That's it there. I'll try that one again. Extension is enabled globally, it says. You've installed some VS Code, some Atom. Good for you, man. I do the same actually. Although I'm all about Z80asm right now, but if I do Unity and C Sharp, then I'm all about Visual Studio proper. I don't use VS Code for that. Adventure on. Never heard of that. That sounds really good. I've never heard of that. I mean, I had a dabble with the action game, the arcade game engine by Jonathan Coldwell. It taught me a couple of tricks about making my own game here, but I didn't enjoy it. Oh, text adventure. Oh, that's a question. Sorry, I just noticed that. That sounds brilliant, man. One day I'll get to that stage when I'm doing it. But at the moment, I like to try and learn what's going on under the hood. You know what I mean? Quill, I've never even heard of as well. Sounds brilliant though. So you write it in assembly, yeah, and then it can compile to lots of different machines. Sounds good. I'd definitely love to just get 2 bespoke Spectrum games out though. Then turn my attention to C64 for a little while. No definition. What a shame. Oh, it found that. I wonder if it's just because I've got too many files and folders now. Because it just happened when I added on these files. Oh, that's got a capital letter as well. That's the only file. Got to change that. Do they have to be open? No, they don't. Because I used to open them like that. I used to be like, okay, I'll open that by doing that. I don't know. I'll give up with it for now and just try and figure it out anyway. The code. Something like JSON. Oh wow. Okay, so it's just a scripting language. and you're able to modify the game parameters. So you've got to fit to their game engine pre-made parameters, I guess. You can't deviate too far from that, I take it, some template. Still, if all you want to do is make games and you've already got good art skills, that's what you want, isn't it, really? Why remake the wheel? Why reinvent the wheel when you don't need to? Yeah, that's fair enough though. Yeah, see, I'm definitely not all about just making games because I can't do my own art. I'm actually trying to learn, almost making an engine, you know, I'm trying to make a reproducible structure of a game. But it doesn't help when you can't just open the things like that. That really speeds up your workflow when that works. And it puts away any doubts. You know, I've got loads of doubts now. Why is it not working all of a sudden? Because I really did expect it to work. We've got Mutsky draw. Oh look, return. That definitely won't help. Is there an actual return at the end as well where I want it? Yeah, there is. Oh, I think I just cracked it. But also, where it's drawing Mutsky, I want to actually call Mutsky draw. Not that it makes any difference whatsoever. Yeah, that was in my debug. I was wondering, I was trying to stop I thought the problem was lying in the draw function, so I returned from it and forgot. Oh god, I'm clicking save now and it's trying to open up a dialog to save a new file. Something's really wrong with this. I just overwrit the file. It said it wasn't existing in code, in VS Code. Also at the top left, note that it still says I haven't saved it even though I just did. I've done save all. It's doing the same thing with the same file. Dumb. That's what you call a gremlin. There's just no explanation for that. Yeah, it's a dodgy plugin, but I used it at like 4 o'clock this afternoon. It's now 1 a.m. You know, the next morning, and all I did was, you know, I didn't use the computer at all since. I just came back, turned it on, and it done this. Look, every time I press save now, it's popping up like I haven't got it saved. It's so strange. Normally, it's just a habit of mine. I just press Control S before I compile, even when it's saved. Clear the cache. Yes, thank you, man. Control Shift P. Come on, clear history. Thank you, mate. Type command. Did that work? It's bloody weird. Clear editor history. I take it I can just click that. It has no like feel to it. Oh god, I got it in verbose mode again. But it did compile. Right, so we might actually see Taphead now. It's one of the worst drawings you'll ever see in any game. Here he is. Oh, he's not working properly either. I need to zoom in because my eyes are not that good. It seems I've got the wrong size of the off. You know how many bytes his frame is. Byte counts. That'll be good then, won't it? So we've got quite a lot of space there then. In that case, because we're using 21,000. I believe you get 32. It looks like something from Hellraiser, yeah. Yeah, or Total Recall or something. Star Trek. It's okay. The main problem's solved. I've just got to figure out why his animation. This animation timer, I've copied this. It's like a legacy thing I've copied from the player just to make it the same. But I had a thought about it. I don't think it does anything. I don't think it works. I think it delays it for the first frame and then just stops. Even though I do reset the timer here. Yeah, at least he's there. Exactly. I was wondering why the heck he wasn't getting drawn. It's lucky I saw that return. Could have easily not seen that for ages. Do you know what? I might just completely delete it all though. I'm going to save it to GitHub right now. It works, kind of. At least I can come back. I think it's part 21 in it. I'll just call it that. So that's now there. And now I'm going to delete some of this draw code. And I'm going to use the same approach I used on the teeth. It's cleaner than this. The only bad side is it just changes a frame every step, every time you move. But it looks okay. It removes all this anim timer rubbish as well. Current frame I do want. In fact, I know exactly why the problem was. Do you know what? Sod it. I've just realised what the problem was, so I may as well just leave it how it because it works already. The problem was I copy and pasted this out of Bob. Bob has an extra 2 cells of height. Bob frame size. There you go. Look. This guy is 48 bytes. Again, I press save and it's popped up with this box that you can't see. So I can't just save it on the hotkey. Oh, I bet that's because I got rid of that notepad thing. Notepad hotkeys. No, I don't want that. Look at this. Mutsky direction. It's defined here, like 10 lines above. Excuse me. Right. I've probably just rabbited away, as I always do, and just forgotten about an entire problem. But I think we've sorted it all. The reason this says Bob go down is because actually it should just be called go down. They can all share. All the enemies can share that constant. It doesn't need one for each one. Oh god, I've done the V again. That's alright, didn't take long. Right, come on, Taphead. Yay, look at him go. He doesn't collide with baskets because I forgot to make him. And that's why he's got stuck, because there's nodes. I've copied the nodes as well. I need to move them. I didn't bother moving them. But that's actually really good. He doesn't look as bad as I thought he was going to either. Oh, you can't see that. He looks like Monty Moose, doesn't he? You gotta love it, ain't you? He's the Russian exchange student, Mutsky. And he never takes that hat off. They don't let him. He does actually look alright, yeah. I thought he was going to look really bad. It actually looks alright in game. We've got the teeth as well, thanks to Moz. So the only thing I need to draw next is a basketball. And I can copy that from the game. I won't do that on air. But I'm going to change the ball for a basketball. We could add the functionality of the throw. And if you remember, when we had the teeth, when we first added the teeth, they were homing teeth. We basically just want the ball to do that to the enemies and home in, because it very rarely misses when you're using it in the real game. The ball, it's like a perfect shot every time. And now this is becoming a real pain about the IntelliSense, because I want to keep flicking back, like I want to add some states, and I have to remember what file I put them all in. They're all going to need new states, of course. I've just realised. Bob state, basketball. Oh god, I forgot all about the sitting down kids. I guess even if we have just one and we reuse it for every bench, the same kid, that wouldn't be that bad if we do run out of space. I knew there was some other graphics that I did know in the back of my mind. Where's Mutsky States? Ah, he's using the exact same as Bob. Which is fine. There's absolutely no reason why not. So I'll just call them enemy states instead. It's just a label. So they can both do basketball. Just because only Bob can use teeth, but it doesn't mean we can't have the state. Okay, that's working really well. Another boring task coming up is all these nodes. I'm going to need to prefix all these min x with level 1 and make a set for level 2. I thought they were repeated, yeah. But I did think there was like a jock with a helmet, or maybe I imagined that as well, or got it off another version. But I thought it was like a jock with a helmet and then like a skinny kid or something. I guess for now I could just write them in, the numbers. I'm pretty sure the mid, and max will be okay. It's just the Ys. God, look, I can't hover over it or anything. It's so annoying. It's making life really hard without this IntelliSense. It probably doesn't notice when you're just watching, but I'm just trying to find out how much that is. 48. The 48 one was fine. It was the next one down that was the problem, I think, anyway. I think we can just we could literally just lose that like that for now to see how that performs. Right, this is just all about Taphead's pathfinding at the moment. Oh, that one's still in the wrong place as well. So yeah, I've got to painstakingly go through it with in a program or so I can figure out where I want these nodes. Look. Yeah, I've been discussing that since day one. At the moment, I'm happy with this crud way of, I call it caveman debugging. But we can do that. Look, we've got, you can't even see that screen, but wait a sec. We've got this, but I never use it. Breakpoints. If I can see a value at a breakpoint, yeah, that would be great. But if I just want to know the code is reaching a certain area, I can just do the little trick with the border. Just flash the border to a different color. You'll be surprised how with this caveman style you can actually debug some quite complex problems. Just logically forcing the sprites to do certain things and just trial and error basically. I mean, I know exactly what's happening with this. I don't need a debugger to know what's happening there. But all I need to really do is bring up that in an art program, and then I can just find the exact character self where I want each node, just draw it on. But I try and avoid doing that on the stream really, because it's just me like clicking a thing in GIMP. Let's do it though. Right, so I'm going to just take it into level 2. Take a snapshot, a screenshot. Level 2.png. So obviously that's it in character cells now. I already have it set up to snap to the grid, so I'll just... Oh, no I don't, but it doesn't matter. So that's going to tell us exactly the right positions now if I just draw the nodes on. We've got to remember we're talking about, like, that is where the player, that's where the character is right now. That's his origin. Total number of lines loaded. Good job, man. Thank you for finding that out. It's not a very relevant thing to print out for the debug, for the output, really, is it? Maybe I'm wrong, but it's not really needed, is it, how many lines it is? Yeah, it's not a great thing to print out. What's the point, really? I might be wrong. I'm only a novice, but I can't think why anyone would want to really know that crucially. Yeah, strange one, isn't it? I would have even rather know the time, even though the time's pretty irrelevant as well. Alright, let's just draw on these nodes quickly and get them in the right place. So his head, he could probably turn there. Let's just say there. Oops. So it's much the same as it was before, but it's slightly different. It just doesn't look it. I wish it told me in character cells. I now have to work this out a sec. $16.56. Oh, of course, Y, actually, I do want it in pixels. So it's 256, the first one. I think you'll find max X is 2 already. Oh, it's 3. Let's just type them in. 2 and 56. So they're all going to be 56. And 3. It's 2, that'll be 11. Yeah, because it was 88. And then 160. It's 20. So 11 and 20. Oh, I've only got 9 nodes this time, haven't I? I know, because I wrote the code, that this loop that goes through the nodes looks for the number 12 and knows that 12 is the last one. So rather than go through the hassle of changing this, oh, I have got level 2 total hearts. I could just change it actually. Oh, total hearts. No, that's not nothing to do with this. Don't even need that. Actually, yeah, we do. Let's just keep that. But yeah, I know that it's going to think 12 is the last one. So I'm just going to leave that actually like that. But really, I've got a constant called total nodes. I should have had level 1 total nodes, level 2. I just assumed they were going to have the same amount of nodes in each one. Of course, I could just make 2 the same. You know, I could put them back in. I've only chose to have 9 nodes. I could have another 2 up here if I wanted. You know, another 3 and then another 12. Alright, so 56 is the top row. 112, 160. Is 112 a multiple of 8? Yeah. Okay. Good evening, Coda Mick. Good to see you, mate. Oh, bless. Awesome. Yeah, well, no one wants to unnecessarily mingle, I guess, at the moment. Which is sad for the really young kids. Because I can remember being like 8 or something, and the summer holidays used to feel like forever. But these kids have been off for flipping ages, haven't they? That could just work, just like that, really. Well, it should actually. Not worth taking any chances, is it? But yeah, it is sad. Oh, he's stuck. It needs to nudge up just a little bit. Did I do the turning? I'm sure I put the turning function into Mutski as well to stop him actually like sliding round the corner. Yeah, did you see that now? Yeah, it does look cool, doesn't he? Got a slick hairdo. Had to be spiky, really, with that name. Had to have the spiky hair to go with it, didn't he? I forgot what I was checking now. It was something quite simple. Oh yeah, I wanted to check about the turning thing, and it does. That's fantastic news, yeah, because I'm never up to date with how many viewers. It says 6 at my end. I'm happy with 6. 9's even better, of course. 9's far exceeding how I thought my channel would go at this stage. So I'm thankful to all of you. Right, he's walking around pretty well, but I think the middle row is going to make him hit the lockers still. Yeah. Just needs to nudge up like 1 pixel. I just forgot to do it, didn't I? Because I started talking. I'm going to go back to the other screen view so you can see all the chat properly and stuff. We don't need the art program up on the screen anymore. Just takes me time to switch about. There we go. Oh yeah, it says 9 now. So yeah, welcome new viewers. Let's just nudge them nodes up. These ones. ARP is of course down. It has to be a multiple of 8 though, or at least 4, because he walks at a speed of 4. But I'd rather keep it a multiple of 8 in case we change his speed, or any of the others. Let's try that. Go on, Mutsky. He's lethal. He seems to be walking quicker than the other guy. I've got to make it so Mutsky does collide with bins, the baskets, because he can just walk straight through them, which is not fair right now. We can get the ball, but we can't throw it, so that's another thing. I need to make it so you can throw that. Oh, I didn't think of that either. There's no way around that. I think when the ball has a bit of detail drawn into it, it will look better when it clips with the wall there, because you'll still be able to make out some of the detail of the ball. So I said two things there, didn't I? And my memory's getting really bad, so I'm going to write it down. One was a throw ball. I forgot what the other thing was already. Oh, make Mutsky not walk through baskets. And I think the only reason that he does walk through baskets is, well, of course, I copied his functionality from Bob, and there's no baskets in level 1. We've done it all from level 1. So we need to add that to Bob as well soon. Just going to roll a cigarette. Like I say, I had a real rush again. It was worse today at work than it was for the rest of the week. But thankfully, for definite, tomorrow's my last day, and then I've got 2 days off. Can't wait. As far as I know, nothing planned. At least like 2 videos a day, 2 long videos per day during that stage. You know, them days. Probably like I did last week. I'll do 3 each day. I'll be back coding in a sec. I've just got to roll this. By the way, Coder Mick, it looks like I've been really busy, but I've done a lot of that privately today before work, not online. You got the whole week off, Moz. That's brilliant. I haven't had a week off for 2 years, voluntarily, but they kind of rely on me at my work. But I am going to say to them, I want 2 weeks off, but it'll probably be a few weeks before I actually get the time off. That's brilliant. I mean, my job's the kind of job you don't get paid at all if you have a day off, you know. Not most jobs you get at least a couple of paid holidays. So yeah, but mine no. Yeah, good for you. It's funny, isn't it? People working from home and getting holiday, accruing holiday. It's living the dream, really, if you think about it. My mate's got it. But they've only set him up working from home because of this virus stuff, you know. Good for him. Right, let's make the ball throw first. We can just do it directly in the flying. I'm going to make it just home in. There's no aiming stage. It just aims every frame, so it can't miss. Or very little chance of missing. Ah, I've just realised a problem though with my logic. Whoops. Um, I need a way of finding if he's nearer to Bob or Mutsky. Oh, Granny Morris. Sounds like a Disney character. Yeah, you got to use up your holidays, man. Got to be done. This is a problem, though. I probably do need another stage in between. What I wanted to do was, we've set up ball held already, and we've seen that in action. It just follows Mikie around, or Spiky, while he's walking. And I wanted to just have a check here, you know, if F pressed, change state to flying, and that would be it. But you see, I do want to be able to aim it, I think. Let me word that differently. I need an aiming stage in between, because it needs to find out who the nearest player is, or enemy, sorry. That's quite a lot of instructions to find out that as well. Luckily, we'll only have to do it once per ball throw. Like when you press F, it'll have to do it. I mean, I could do it without a stage. I don't need a state for it. It could just be a routine. Find nearest player. Find nearest enemy, sorry. Let's try and make it. So there's going to be Bob and Mutsky. There is actually a janitor as well, but in our smaller version of this game, where the screen size is actually smaller, we might have to just live with the two characters. That's quality. It's a bit like my mum, I think. Do you know though, I've hated every politician. I can't think of one that's good in my lifetime. Certainly not in this country. So it's either going to be Bob or Mutsky that's nearer, because I'm not going to put the third enemy in, I don't think. The game world is too small. In the original Mikie, they've used the entire width of the screen. Yeah, they are mainly liars. I don't know why they get away with it for all these decades, really. But hey ho. What do you do again, Fractal Mike? I've forgotten. Evening Microman. Cool, the way things are going, it could scoop up over 10 viewers. I think there's an achievement for 10 viewers that I need to hit. It allows something or other. I like that, Chromo. The trick is to not tell anyone you're off work. That's the key, isn't it? That's what I do. So yeah, to forgive my to say sorry for repeating myself in advance, but finally I'll say it again. It's either Mutsky or Bob. I'm repeating myself because I don't know what to write in code. Maybe I'll try a bit of pseudocode first. Or I guess find Bob distance, find Mutsky different. If I can do that, that'll be obviously simple. Oh, yeah, I know there's a few of you here that haven't been, you've only just joined, so for some reason I've lost all forms of IntelliSense. The entire project's failing to link together now, and it's slowed me down to no end. It keeps, when I'm trying to write the A register, it wants to write a line. It's just broke to hell. I don't even have the word align in my code. I don't think align is even a keyword, is it? I mean, what feels it? The hell is align? Is it like a predefined constant or something? I don't have a clue. But it's very annoying. Align is a keyword. Okay, it's just one I don't know. That's strange. It never used to do that though. When I'm typing A, it used to know I was typing the register A. Align 2, yeah. Saw that, but didn't know what it meant. Said something about resetting all the bits or something. Okay. Interesting. At the moment, my brain is so it's not advanced enough to understand why you would need to do that, but maybe one day it will be. Do you know what? I think I should just check which one is nearer on the y-axis only. Or maybe on the x-axis only. Okay. That's obviously if you want to use it later for dividing and multiplying by bit shifting or something, is it? Yeah, I understand. It's a bit like how the spectrum memory is done with the high and low byte. Like the way it's set up, you can just roll the bytes, the bits, to move it. Okay. Is that not... Because I still don't... I've read about jump tables, but I sort of skipped through it and got around without reading it. But is this not the same as a jump table? Like here? And then I use IX, and I can just get into any of them then, you know? And then I increment by 5 to get to the next locker and the next. That's what I've been thinking of as tables, but I might be completely wrong. But of course, I don't need to care what address that's stored at. I couldn't give a monk. I don't have a clue where that's stored in the memory. Oh, the jump table is just an array of numbers then, basically, to set up a jump movement. I see. Or maybe I don't. Okay, yeah. That's how I've worded it, an array of address values. Oh, an array of address values, okay. So basically they'd be what you define words instead of bytes. And it would be bigger numbers, I expect. I've done it again where I was rabbiting away. I was halfway through changing some code. Oh, it was bull. I was changing the bull. That's what I'm thinking. It's quite tricky to find out the nearest. Well, no, it's not. I can do it. Should I cache the distances as a proper byte? Because it might be quite hard to store them all in different registers. But if I add up the two distances, the x and the y, for both characters, whichever is the smallest number at the end would be the nearest character, wouldn't it? I'll show you what I mean. So that's the difference of x, of Bob. If we do sub b. This is really confusing though, because we're dealing with signed numbers here, really, aren't we now? It could go up minus. I am reading your messages. Just trying to read that one. Oh, I see, yeah. Sort of like an offset from the memory. You know, you could just add, I sort of get it, I think. Okay, and that was at a line 2 thing. Strange how it never came up before. I see. So you can store anything you want in there, really. But it's just an ordering system, like a way of ordering it in the memory. I mean, I must admit, I don't understand it all yet. Keep chipping away. I keep learning bits and bobs every single day. So some of this, though, I just make up off the top of my head. Like this routine here, I'm just trying to make up straight off the top of my head here. If it was like in C sharp or something, I could do it easily. Where do I want to save that number to? Just for now, I'm going to define some variables right here. See if I want to keep them. Um, Like I say, I'm ad-libbing here, and all this could easily get deleted. Ugh, press the wrong key. As far as I can tell, that makes sense so far. And we have the difference of X of the ball. And Bob, obviously. Oh. So funny enough, A must still already equal the Y. But you can't just do add A ball diff, sadly. Because you just can't. So I'll have to put it into B. It's right long-winded, this. I'm probably writing it all stupidly. See, if I wanted to do add, it has to be a constant or a value that's in a register. That's why I have to do all that last bit of mess around there. But now A equals the total difference added together. Alright. Let's just do the same thing but change Bob to Mutsky. Good. Now there's even more mess around. This is just because I'm such a novice. I don't know any tricks about this. This is just like straight up my first ever try at doing this sort of thing. I'm going to load the two values into a register. So ball if Bob can go into B. Ball if Mutsky can be in A. Compare B. Find nearest enemy. Thanks, Chromo. Yeah, that would. I'm feeling a bit lost without that. I mean, it doesn't normally help me with instructions, but it helps me know what these values are and jump to them and see where I defined them and stuff like that. here I could just, basically I need another value here, yet another one, to say which one is nearest. In fact, I may just make some states just so I can use constants. So I'll just have like, I don't know why that big gap's there. I'll just put it at the bottom. Call it like nearest enemies. I don't want to prefix it with Bob because that normally means it's in the Bob class. Like, so I'm just going to put nearest Bob equals 0. Nearest Mutsky equals 1. So now I can just have, I might as well put it in the bool for now. I'll just have like current nearest db Bob, nearest Bob, and it's not going to find it because it doesn't exist according to that. But so I probably should have called this like lock target. It doesn't really matter. This makes sense to us right now. I could either make a jump label for each one, which is what I'm leaning towards in my head right now, or I could do like set it and then return. I'm going to do the jump labels. So I'll prefix with bool because it's in that class. Just call it set nearest Bob Mutsky. And then, I mean, I could make them a routine and call it. I think I'll just put a return inside each one. Instead, the C flag will be set if it's less than, if A is less than or equal to B, less than B, sorry. There's only 2 outcomes anyway, so this is going to be straightforward, but I'm going to set it up so there could be more. So Bob is in B and Mutsky's in A. So jump C is Mutsky. Jump NC Bob. Fun. Oh yeah. So the worst case scenario is they'd be equal and it would go to Bob. Right. God, I forgot what I called it. Current nearest. I'll check it out. This one I was using by M. Boric was absolutely incredibly good up until literally midnight tonight, and it just seems to have broke. Maziak. Let's have a look at it. Why not try it? I've just got to remember to finish off bool Mutsky if I really get stuck. Well, that took quite a while to install, so hopefully it's putting lots of functionality in there. Where do I see my installed ones? Something's not working because There it is. Reload required. Ball set nearest. That looks good. It's looking good. That's weird how that flag's different to that flag. I like that. Superb, it works. And look at this. That's new. Good spot, Chrono. You're a legend, man. Boom. I've got no excuse now. Productivity 10x. It sure is. It looks it, mate. Right, let's get back on with this ball class. In an ideal world, I'll be able to change this. I don't like how it's. My mouse wheel is not the best and can do without all them extra lines, but it might be customizable as well. I reckon it will be. All I have to do is call that now, and then we know which one's the nearest. I guess I only need to do that when I'm in my aiming state. Well, in fact, just when we press F here. This should probably be in the player class, this bit here, but it's alright here. Oh, good night, Michael, man. Just noticed that. Sorry. Thanks for joining in again, man. I'm a lot quieter than I usually am because I'm really struggling it. You know, I'm not struggling, but I'm just having lots of new things. You made a debugger. I like the hex hover converter. That's a good idea. Dzog I used to use. I had this on my system before. I just didn't know how to use it, and I got rid of it. I'll get it again, why not? It's bound to be compatible with his other one, isn't it? It's enabled. Miles is focused on the can of beer, you know it, mate. So in bullfire, we'll check the nearest enemy. That's going to set our... We can then use this as our target, this guy. Current nearest. So I have to use that as a sort of state flipper, or whatever you want to call it, like an enumerator. Have I got two Aussies in the room at the same time? That's fantastic. Football golf. Not too much beer. I'm just trying to picture football golf. Is it like you kick the ball and then there's a hole somewhere you've got to aim at? That would be cool if that is the case. No golf clubs needed, you just boot the ball. Get it in the hole. Sounds good. Basketball, but the hole's on the ground and it's like half a mile away, I think. And you kick it. Curfews are annoying, aren't they, when the police are just crawling around everywhere. I mean, I work as a food delivery driver, so I was all through the lockdown driving my car around, and I got hassled by the police all the time. Yeah, thankfully it's eased up here now. Yeah, I guess if you get out for 2 hours, it's not too bad. If you're anything like me, you're a computer geek, you know, not much has changed. The screen still lights up when you press the button on. The internet still works. I'm happy. So anyway, loading current nearest. Do you know what? I'm going to be explicit with the name. I'm going to use nearest to match what I've already written, but then I'm going to put target as well. Current nearest target. It's still not finding that nearest Bob though. There we go. Yes, it does. Brilliant. Oh, I do this in the fire, not in the fire and loop. Do it here. And that's why it's important that this only gets called one time. So you know what? I better also do. So if you press F, it calls this routine, but then that checks is F held and returns immediately if it's true. But if it isn't true, it finds the nearest enemy. So that only happens one time. It then sets the state to flying. And returns. Excellent. So it's ready to go. We just need to add the flying code in. It checks who's the nearest, like who's the target. I'm just going to have two separate routines for this as well. There was another way around it, but I think this is actually easier on the processor. My way would have been like to return out, but then I might have ended up doing two in one frame, like setting it, I don't know. Just going to do it here. Finally, we're getting somewhere. Just have a swig of drink while I think about this. God, I've missed all your messages. Sorry about that. There's so many now. I love it. Citrix. I already had this code written up. It's in the teeth, isn't it? Basically, I need a move up function, move down, move right. Oh, well, luckily there's no other teeth in here. So I might even give the ball more speed so it's even more likely to be able to hit you, or hit the enemy I should say. But yeah, it looks like I just brute force again, check everyone. I'm sure there's more optimal ways of doing this with a signed, the proper use of the signed number would be good. Anyway, I'll carry on doing what I know. I should probably do ball X actually, because although I did use player here, I mean I should probably change all the player to ball. It doesn't really matter. The player's right next to the ball all the time. That is defined, good. Thank you very much for the follow, dude. Spec Humpster, nice. Moz, get jealous of your friends in the pool, yeah. I know that feeling. I don't even look at Facebook anymore. Right, so that'll move the ball to compare here, compare B. If A is less, if A is less than B, that means the ball needs to move right. Thing is, I could do just if not move left, but then it's going to miss them. So I need to, unfortunately, do the exact same thing but reversed. So and let's just copy it and change it, it's easier. Oh. If A is less than B, so if ball Y is less than bob Y, ball needs to move up. Pretty sure that's good to go. I'm going to copy that into the Mikie version. Just copy and replace everything again. Oh, I'm just trying to get rid of that space. That's all I'm doing. Sod it. Alright, I need to change any reference to Bob into Mikie. Only inside that section. This extension's working so much better. It did not compile. Symbol current nearest is undefined. Ball page line 121. Target. I renamed it. Let's get rid of that debug verbose stuff. Still failed. Ball speed wise undefined. I think I'll go for just one. I'll go for 1 and 4 for the speeds. Excellent, it's compiled. Let's see if we can pick up the ball finally. Oh, what have I just done there? Put it in verbose again. I've just thought about something I might have forgotten to do actually. Oh no, I think it's good to go. That should only happen in held. When it's in the held state. It can be the first thing that happens. Doesn't actually matter. It could just work now. So I press F to get the ball. Oops. And then I should just be able to press F and it'll just find the nearest enemy. There's only one enemy in there right now. Okay, let's go over there. The next level. Oh, it's definitely not working. Oh, it did that time then. Oh, it's moving in conjunction with him for some reason. That's okay, I can fix that. I just obviously haven't got enough conditions in there. It's not checking right. I wonder what is causing that. I mean, it won't be a difficult thing to fix that. I just want to see if I can pick the ball up and not throw it. It's awkward. I don't think you can. So that's why. Held was held. Do you know what? I thought it would have not got called where it changes it to flying here if it was held. So I'm tapping fire. Tapping fire calls ball spawn from somewhere else. And it seems to be firing it in the same frame, even though it's held. This is just a goofy little debug trial thing because I'm not going to keep it there. Obviously, it meant if you held F, the ball would stop in midair. Oh no, this is only while it's held anyway. It wouldn't really have much effect. Oh, look at them glitches. I just got some glitched pixels all over the place. Look at that. I had this before, and what I had to do is slow the game down. We're running at 25 FPS, and that's like 50 divided by 3 now. Still got some glitching. Still about the same, I think. It's something to do with the ball, isn't it? It's nothing to do with the other thing. Why would the ball affect the first level though? None of what we changed this evening would change that first level. It seemed to happen ever since I put that there. It's perfect again. That's weird, because that's only getting called when there's a ball. I mean, ball update does get called every frame. One of them. But then it returns straight out if it's not alive, so it shouldn't do anything. Oh look, it's crashed. I'm not surprised with that ball going flying around everywhere. I mean, with the teeth, I check if it goes out of bounds and destroy it. That's not going to be hard at all. But I want it to aim in the right direction. Yeah, I mean, I've got the debugger, but it's how to use it, isn't it? What's this? Okay, yeah, but what's this? Dzog needs a remote to execute. Is that talking about Pasmo? Or PowerShell? Fuse is the emulator I'm using. I've got lots of other emulators on here, but I found Fuse seemed to be the most realistic. Remote monitor connection. Quite interesting, whatever that is. Oh look, it's telling you variable, function, constant. That's quite handy. I'm sure I could get some use out of that screen. There's how you link up to GitHub then, clearly. Oh look, run. Click it. Let me read your messages. Okay. I've never had to create my own debug environment. Normally there's some sort of debug environment. I've used debug and profilers extensively in other times, but I never had to create it myself. That's where I'm falling down. Or even link it myself. Is there a big delay? That's a shame. I've got it set onto low latency, but I think my internet is quite bad. When I stream to YouTube, I get errors. But I think Twitch is clever enough to like actually slow it down and somehow drop bits somehow, and then gives me extra time when it lags out. Because I've noticed that on my longer streams there seems to be a longer delay. That might be something to do with it, yes. Unfortunately, I guess it's going to be something for a later day, trying to actually get the debug working properly. It's something I definitely want to do. I've been saying it on actually almost all my videos. Actually, there's a like somewhere in the 2 hours I mentioned that you can do debugging properly, but I've just been ignoring that fact. I've completely forgotten what I was actually doing again. Oh, the ball was just moving weirdly, wasn't it? Yeah, see, the debugger would be brilliant now because I want to know what nearest target is at all times. Find nearest enemy. See, I was wondering whether calling it there might be a problem. I wonder if I just do it every frame before I do anything else. So that is always should have the nearest enemy. The problem is that's going to deviate. Like when we have two enemies on screen, depending on where the ball is each frame, it's going to find a new enemy. So it's no good. Just want to see if it still travels off in the wrong direction. Completely. Ah, it's a boomerang. Yeah, it's just walking with him there. So it looks to me that the X is working, but the Y is wrong. Okay, thank you, Spec Humster. That's brilliant. Do you reckon that's something I could do right now, or should I do that off air and learn about it first and then show it like next video perhaps? It's already getting quite late, isn't it? I've heard of C-Spect. It'll take hours, yeah, fair play. I'll try and learn as much of it as I can myself, and I'll show it off what I've learned tomorrow probably. Unless I get absolutely nowhere with it. I've got ZX spin. I have actually got that. The only reason should I tell you? Wait a sec. Excuse me. You guys might be able to help me. You seem to have a lot of knowledge. Now, I'm very new. I've managed to. You've seen how I found a way to do it, but a lot of it is trial and error with me. Now, this will really help me if you could explain this to me. Here, I use this. I set the entry point there, and then I have to have org, and then I have to have end entry point down here, and then this tap bass then uses that so that when I just do invoke item s tap, it just loads. If I put this code into ZX spin, yeah, so the end is only for the tap bass, and tap bass is irrelevant in ZX spin, yeah. So could I just copy this code into ZX spin and then just comment that out? Is that what you're saying? Obviously, there might be the odd little other word I might have to change. That's funny. Look at that. Oh, that's that new thing telling me there's a wrong way round, is it? It likes them that way round. Ah, the assembler and spins crap. Okay. Yeah, because I remember I did have problems. I started out in spin, and then my code wouldn't work anywhere else. And I was like, oh, I don't want to work in spin and only have it working in spin. So being the noob I was, I just completely ditched it off. Even though I'm sure it was just like one little thing somewhere. It's getting quite late. I might have to make do with this ball for now. I'll quickly look at the ball movement code again. See if I've got an obvious mistake. Like I say, tomorrow is my last day of work. So I'll do a late night session there and I'll be, not watching the clock at all. Do you really? Okay. Okay. Because when I use spin, it like injected the assembly code somehow into the memory. Does that make sense to you? The compiling process was completely removed for me, and so was the loading. I think I had to type USR randomize or something. Can't really remember. It was when I very first started out a few months back. Okay. Yeah, so just basically set up spin as my default spectrum emulator. Because I think invoke item just opens it with the default, doesn't it? Excellent, thank you. I'll keep all that in mind. I do watch back the videos at the end so I remember what I said I'm going to do. So I'll make sure I do it. Oh, it was here, wasn't it? I know the X was fine. Well, was it though? It seems to move right. Nah, it looks fine to me. I'll have to come back to it tomorrow, I think. Do you guys know any better targeting sort of logic? Because at the moment I'm just checking it like hardcore is X ball less than X bob, and if it is, move it right. You know. Of course, it's Mutsky I want to really check because he's the one it's aiming at right now. Use a pointer with HL instead, just to speed it up a bit maybe. Thing is, I always use H. Oh well, yeah. I mean, the HL. So, for example, would be something like it'd just be like that, wouldn't it? And then you just do something like that maybe. You can do that, yeah. Interesting. That'll probably. It's funny. I sometimes check them T states. There's a website that tells you the T states. There's not always a great deal of difference between like loading to the A register and then doing a compare with B. Sometimes works out less than just that. Be interesting. I'll have a quick look, see if I can figure that out now. My internet's very, very slow. Like you say, yeah, it's a rewrite for another day. I've hit that time where I'm completely unproductive again, you know. I just end up clicking the mouse around and renaming stuff and stuff like that. That's it. I've not been worrying about T states, but sometimes, you know, when you've got like two different ways to do something in your head, and it's quite simple, like say 4 lines of assembly. I sometimes go through it on this Z80asm website, and it tells you I work out the exact amount of T states, you know. So sometimes, especially when I'm using the IX register. So the CP1 decade. In this method, you mean, Moz? In this section? Because I don't actually want to. I'm only comparing, you know, with CP. I'm not decreasing it. But maybe I'm misunderstanding you. So compare, just check. I'm going to delete that as well for now. Okay. True and false I set up. They're just constants. Are you sure about that spec? Yeah. CP0. Okay. I understand, kind of. It just does the same thing with the flag without by using less T states or whatever. Yeah. But CP seems to make more. You know, it makes more sense to the novice like me looking at it because it's like right, I'm comparing it to 0. It's very interesting now how these optimizations are done. Though. Ah, I get ya. So as long as I know in advance that I just want the Z flag to be set. Right. I mean, have I even done CP0 anywhere? I don't think I ever have, funnily enough. Done CP true, of course, and CP false somewhere, I'm sure. But see, if I'd have done, or say that was CP false, if I'd have just replaced that with or N, yeah, wouldn't this defeat the object? Wouldn't it like, oh no, I do get it, yeah, yeah, okay. Oops. So when I didn't realise, but when I do or, I didn't even think that it might set the flags. Or A cool NZ. Okay, that's cool. I'll have to take that on board soon. All that sort of stuff. I mean, at the moment, I'm still trying to make sure everything works, if you know what I mean. So I'd rather have readability, as you already said, I think, isn't it? Optimize it later if it needs it, I guess. Because don't forget, all these little update loops, they're only called in certain cases. You know, they're not called every single frame. Yeah, exactly. Because I can read it now, and if I put all these or A's everywhere, I'll be trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I'll have to at very least comment everything after it. I'm going to log out pretty soon, and the first thing I'm going to do tomorrow when I code is checking this routine and trying to make it just rudimental caveman style, just chucking it the ball at. Yeah, exactly. It's clear and was like I know then I'm doing like an if else scenario as soon as I see that, you know. And it maybe doesn't save that much changing it. I don't know. It would be different if I was doing too many. You know, if there was loads of, if I was going through an array of like 35 enemies or something. This logic seems fine to me, to be honest. I'm just gonna have to go through it again and again, like I do with the collision code. Sometimes I get it backwards. It seemed to be backwards on the. Oh, let me double check what it looks like again. Is the X actually right, or is it? It seems to lock to him okay. No, I think it's all just completely screwed. Oh look, them glitches are back. Hmm. That should have been true for a start. No, I'm going to call it there. I'd love to stay up for a little bit longer, but I'm getting a bit tired. And tomorrow is the last day of my work, so then I will have lots of hours to code for. But the last thing I want to do is wear myself out, so I don't, you know, so I have to take a longer break. I don't want to do that. It is on GitHub. Yeah, I'll put the link now, and I'm just about to push it. I'll push it to the It's in the nightly version. I'll call it part 21. It's pushed. I'm just getting the link. I think the link is actually on my Twitch homepage. I'll get it now. Oh, you got it. Well done. Thank you, Chroma. It's done. I've just pushed it. Push. Yeah. Feel free to fork it and show me how it's really done. Like I say, I've got less than 10 weeks of 10 weeks ago I didn't even know what A meant. I'd never heard of the accumulator or anything. So it's quite a lot of progress, but the progress has slowed down now. Starred, thank you, mate. Thank you. It's getting us a lot of interest, this game. Ah, they had a delay. No problem. I've really enjoyed having you all with me. I'm going to have to get going now. I've been repeating myself, but I need to get going. But I really wish I could have stayed on. Please join me again because there are going to be some more productive ones. Thank you, Chromo. Hopefully I can keep pushing further and getting more knowledge. But I am hitting that sort of plateau now where every little thing's a struggle now. Good night, Moz. Thank you, mate. Yeah, I'm off to bed. But yeah, thank you for catching it. My YouTube is called Retrocoder TV. I'm going to check out Shalan on Twitch as well. I'll come and say hi if I see you there, Chromo. Thanks, Spec. Thanks for letting me know that. I'm sure I'll catch you again sometime. I hope so. Come and check out the progress next week or something like that. Whenever you get time. Complexity management, that's the tricky one, isn't it? Because I'm like just dumping one line after another. Good night, Fractal Mike. Always welcome, lurking or otherwise. Always welcome, man. Tomorrow's going to be a big one because I'm going to come back and I've got the whole, I've got all them days ahead of me, so I'm going to session it through the night and through the day. I can't wait. I'll see you then, guys. Otherwise, I'll never end the stream because I wanted to stay here all night. Have fun.